This doesn't have a title yet, but all the pictures are Google images and the inside photos of my car. They represent the closest images I see in my mind as I remember this experience. I, of course, didn't take any pictures at the scene. I was too busy freaking out. Hey, be sure you pinch the picture outward so that you can see all the details in the collage I made, or all the collages. It was late and dark, and I was driving home on Highway 80 south to Novato from visiting my 92-year-old mother-in-law in the hospital in Roseville. I was just passing West Sacramento, where she used to live, driving in the fast lane on the causeway, and thank goodness for my being alert, because I found myself driving right up to a car crash that had just happened in my lane. The front of this car was smashed into the cement center divider, and it was sitting stopped perpendicular to the freeway lanes. I slowed to a crawl and carefully drove around the now empty four-door sedan with all of its doors open, slipping into the next lane over and quickly back into the safety of the fast lane, which was blocked by the crashed car, all the while watching out for any debris and approaching cars that were whooshing along the freeway, hopefully avoiding hitting the turned sideways car. Because of my position of miles per hour and wanting to avoid getting rear-ended by some speeding car that might not be as alert to the occupied fast lane as I was, it seemed natural to come to a stop and ask if I could help. Maybe I could call 911 or something. Well, one of the girls said that they already had called 911, but these two young girls were hysterical. One was on her cell phone crying frantically, and the other was screaming to me what had just happened, and was struggling to hold on to her large, dark brown boxer dog. Two other girls were freaking out nearer to their car, talking to other people who had stopped to help. No one was hurt, but maybe just a little bruised, from being kind of thrown around in the car. The two doggies had been thrown around in the car as it was first hit by another car that was also crashed on the side of the road up ahead, and then knocked by said car into the divider, which made it hit extremely hard. So help was on the way, but one doggie had run from the car when the door opened, and the other dog was frightened right along with his owner and was really ready to dash off. I wasn't sure at this point how I was even helping, or why the heck I was even out there in the middle of nowhere, standing in the middle of the freeway fast lane, fearing that someone racing down the freeway wouldn't notice us and would ram their car into the crashed car and then drive straight into all of us. I decided that I was helping by being a good listener and calming this girl down until the police and ambulance would arrive. Then she asked, oh my gosh, Could you please hold my dog for me in your car? He's trying to run away. Oh, no. Oh, no. No, I can't do that. I'm very sorry. I even mentioned, I'm a cat person. I'm not a dog person. I'm sorry. The girl continued to struggle, holding on to her dog and talking frantically with others. And I thought about how she had been saying to me that her mother had just that day warned her not to go driving with this girl, that it wasn't safe. Well, she was now rambling hysterically that it was, in fact, a premonition her mother had had. Duh. This girl needed help. And I'm all worried about the stink this monster dog was going to put in my car. What? Like dirt footprints? Concentrated pee drops? Stench rubbed on the seats from his dirty dog hair? Big dog drool? Doggy butt skid marks? Fleas? Ticks? Throw up? I was having an OCD alert. What was most important right now was the fact that that girl had some emotional relief and that the gentle giant was contained so he wouldn't run and disappear into the dark and dangerous freeway like the other dog had. Oh, what the hey. I don't sit in the back seat of my car anyway. Come on in. Okay, consider the risks. The doggy could show his teeth. He could even bite me. He could have mud all over his legs and stomach and back. Ugh. He could pee in my car on the seat just out of being scared. You know, maybe he could pee when he gets scared. He could poop. He could leave a little lump in there. Gag me. Maybe he's one of those dogs that like to scoot their butt around, leaving skid marks all over the carpet. Great. Drooling. What about drooling? Is he going to drool all over my car? All right. I can do this. I'll just hold my nose. I can clean the seats as soon as I get home. It'll be okay. This is really important. It's peace of mind for her and peace of mind for this poor doggy. Okay. Well, we settled in quickly. He was kind of unsure getting into the car, I must say. And he stayed as far into the far left corner of the back seat as possible. And I have to say he was extremely polite and very quiet. Look at that face. He didn't know what was happening. So, he's sitting in the back seat, I'm sitting in the front seat. All havoc is going crazy outside the car, but we're safe on the inside of the car, waiting. Waiting for what? We both sat in silence for a real long time. Where was everybody? Here we were, in my little two-door car, still in Sacramento, in the middle of a busy freeway, my inside light on, surrounded by darkness, stars and flashing lights of cars whooshing by, the fire truck, police and ambulance were there now. I'll flag down one of the officers. Or maybe a firefighter every so often. And I'd ask, could one of you guys take my friend, please, so I could go home? They would say the report was still being taken, so, the girl was not available to take the dog back. They were friendly and, they were waiting too. They were just standing out there in the cold waiting and talking to each other while they were waiting for the report to get done. Anyway, I told them that the doggy was indeed stinky, and I was afraid he was going to soil my car seats any minute now, and that I was, and I told them that, I'm a cat person and a parrot person, not a doggy person at all. How did this happen? Where I'm the babysitter of this person-sized, big, kind of scary-looking doggy whose demeanor seemed eloquently gentle and poised on the outside, but what was going on inside that boxer brain? It was 11:30 on a Sunday night. My big friend was not responding to my attempts to communicate with him. I kept telling him what a good dog he was. I just wanted to keep his spirits up and keep him calm. Seemed to me that with that patient and frozen expression, he did not move a muscle he had on his face the entire time. It was best not to turn on the talk radio or music or attempted to make any more small talk with him. Who knew, with additional stimulus, he could suddenly end up showing his teeth or growling or barking at me. So we waited in silence, waiting for his mama. Finally, things did get wrapped up, and it was time to help my friend exit my car. The problem with that was he wouldn't move a muscle when the police officer encouraged him to come out of the car. It was not like we had become fast friends or anything, but maybe my car had become an environment where he felt safe, and he wanted to remain in a safe state. I don't blame him. He'd been through hell. His mama tried next. She tried coaxing him out. The dog was just sitting there like, I'm not going anywhere. I thought for sure that I would see a change in him when he saw her, but no. His body seemed to be stuck right along with his facial expression. He wouldn't budge, flinch, or respond in any way. He wouldn't come out. I don't think he trusted anyone or wanted to go back out in that chaotic darkness after what he'd been through. Bless his sweetheart. It was a little scary to think that too much coaxing could change the expression to something like aggressive. Fear is kind of a funny thing for people and animals. The last police officer was a little more assertive and cautious, and I was anxious to have the stink smell go. But, I really liked this dog. He finally snapped out of it and exited, clumsily leaving his lovely stench behind for me to remember him by. So my job was done, and I could go home. And I must say I drove home with a smile on my face. I had done good, I had helped out, and all was well. And, for me. So boxers are sweet. They're big. They are sad looking. They're very pensive looking. But they're beautiful. And they're comedic. And they're loving. And they're really, did I say beautiful already? Anyway, this guy I'll never forget. Too bad I didn't take any pictures, but God forbid I turn around too fast and snap a picture and he gets mad at me, so it's a good thing. And so I recreated this whole situation with what I could find on the internet, and I think I'm pretty pleased with it. Pretty pleased with the bizarre experience that I had. And it's a nice way to help someone. In the face of hysteria, I was there to calm this gorgeous, sweet little big dog. And I think I helped, and I felt really good. And this little thing says, one of the best lessons you can learn in life is to master how to remain calm. I think I'm pretty good at that. Thanks for listening.